Great news for Dallas Cowboys fans. Chris Godwin, the star wide receiver of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is reportedly in trade discussions, and there's growing momentum suggesting that the Cowboys are set to acquire him. This is one of the most exciting pieces of trade news to come out of the NFL in recent weeks, and it has Cowboys fans everywhere talking. With all the speculation surrounding his potential move, we're diving deep into what this means for Dallas, the impact it would have on their offense, and how it could ultimately change the trajectory of their season and beyond. As a key player for the Bucs over the past several years, Godwin has been an incredibly productive and versatile receiver, posting over 1,100 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons and showing off his consistent ability to make plays at critical moments. To put it simply, he's one of the league's most talented and reliable wideouts, known for his sure hands, exceptional route running, and clutch performances. If the trade happens, it would be a game-changing acquisition for the Cowboys, who are in desperate need of a top-tier wide receiver to complement their already dynamic offensive roster. But what exactly are the details surrounding this trade? Well, it's important to recognize that Chris Godwin is currently on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise tag for 2025, meaning he's playing under a one-year contract, which opens the door for the Bucs to explore a trade. This is crucial because it gives the Cowboys a unique opportunity to potentially land a star player without having to commit to a long-term contract just yet. However, that also means the Cowboys would need to make a deal that works for both teams, something that would likely involve offering a package of draft picks and maybe even a player to sweeten the deal. The Cowboys have a relatively strong roster, but they still have a few gaps to fill, particularly at wide receiver. While CeeDee Lamb has emerged as the team's primary weapon in the passing game, the addition of Godwin would elevate the entire offense to another level. Imagine the dynamic duo of Lamb and Godwin on the outside, with both players capable of stretching the field and creating mismatches for opposing defenses. This would give Dak Prescott not only a reliable number one target in Lamb but also a second wide receiver who can win in multiple areas, whether it's deep downfield or in short yardage situations. Adding a player like Godwin would bring a balanced attack to the offense, allowing for more versatility and a better chance at success in critical moments. One of the things that stands out about Godwin is his ability to perform in high-pressure situations. He's made several big plays in key moments, including a number of impressive postseason performances for the Bucs. This is the type of player that can come through when it matters most, and that's the kind of mentality the Cowboys need as they aim to compete for a Super Bowl. With Dak Prescott at the helm, Godwin could help propel the offense to a new level, improving the deep passing game while also contributing on short to intermediate routes. Godwin's speed, agility, and route running ability would provide Dak with a new weapon in his arsenal, allowing the Cowboys to spread the field and keep defenses guessing. What's also exciting is that Godwin's versatility gives the Cowboys flexibility in how they use him. He's a player who can line up outside or in the slot, giving offensive coordinator Kellen Moore plenty of options to get creative and put pressure on opposing defenses. Having a player who can perform in multiple roles and excel in different aspects of the game will only make the Cowboys' offense more difficult to defend against. And if you think about the potential of pairing him with the likes of Lamb, Michael Gallup, and even Brandon Cooks, the Cowboys could arguably have one of the most potent receiving corps in the NFL. From a strategic standpoint, this move would also give the Cowboys' offense the ability to counter defenses that key in on Lamb. While Lamb is undoubtedly the star of the receiving group, he's faced double coverage on several occasions due to the lack of a consistent second option. If Godwin joins the team, he becomes the perfect complement to Lamb, someone who could take on the number one cornerback while Lamb operates against the secondary defenders. This would force defensive coordinators to make tough choices, creating more opportunities for both Godwin and Lamb to thrive. This type of dynamic duo would also take pressure off of Prescott, who has often had to force the ball to Lamb or Gallup, even when the coverage has been tight. By introducing a playmaker like Godwin into the mix, Prescott would have more options to work with and fewer reasons to feel like he's carrying the entire offensive load on his shoulders. This is the kind of balance the Cowboys have needed for years: a potent passing game that has multiple threats and doesn't rely too heavily on one player. Of course, no trade comes without its risks, and there are a few factors the Cowboys will have to weigh before pulling the trigger. The biggest consideration would be the financial side of the deal. Godwin is set to make around $18 million in 2025, and while the Cowboys have some cap flexibility, this would be a significant investment. It's worth noting that the Cowboys have been relatively cautious in their spending habits in recent years, with several high-priced contracts already on the books for players like Prescott, Lamb, and others. If the Cowboys do go through with this trade, they will need to find a way to accommodate Godwin's contract and maintain balance in their overall salary structure. This could mean restructuring some existing contracts, potentially releasing or trading players to clear cap space, or even getting creative with how they handle Godwin's contract moving forward. In terms of trade compensation, the Cowboys would likely have to part with a combination of draft picks and possibly even a player or two to make the deal work. The Bucs are still in a rebuilding phase, so they would likely be looking for future assets to help them develop their team, meaning the Cowboys might have to give up more than just a first-round pick to land Godwin. Beyond the financial aspects, the Cowboys will also have to consider how this move fits into their long-term plans. Godwin is an excellent player, but if they trade for him, they'll need to ensure that the timing is right. The Cowboys are in an interesting spot, one where they have a talented team that's capable of winning now but also needs to look toward the future. Acquiring Godwin could signal a win-now mentality, and given the current state of the NFC, the Cowboys could be primed for a serious playoff run with the addition of a top-tier receiver. However, this move also has the potential to affect future roster decisions, as the Cowboys will have to manage their cap space carefully to accommodate a potential long-term extension for Godwin after the 2025 season. This would require some savvy financial moves and roster management, but if it all comes together, the reward could be a Super Bowl caliber offense. The NFL landscape would also shift dramatically if Godwin ends up with the Cowboys. The NFC is wide open, with several teams jockeying for playoff spots and competing for a chance to represent the conference in the Super Bowl. The Cowboys, who have been considered contenders in recent years but have struggled to get over the hump, could go from being a playoff team to a Super Bowl favorite with the addition of a player like Godwin. His arrival would immediately raise the Cowboys' stock, especially when paired with their already potent offense and a defense that's been steadily improving under defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. The addition of Godwin could finally give the Cowboys the boost they need to make a deep run in the playoffs and potentially bring home the Lombardi Trophy. In conclusion, the possibility of Chris Godwin joining the Dallas Cowboys is one of the most exciting developments of the NFL offseason. It could provide the Cowboys with a proven playmaker who can take their offense to the next level and help them compete for a Super Bowl. While there are financial and trade compensation considerations to keep in mind, the potential upside of this move is undeniable. Godwin's addition would give Dak Prescott a dynamic weapon to work with and create a dynamic receiving core that would be tough for any defense to handle. As we wait for further updates, Cowboys fans can't help but feel optimistic about the possibilities this trade could unlock. Keep an eye on this one, folks. The next few days could be the start of something special for Dallas.